Okay, we are recording. Laura, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. I'm just enjoying the sunshine.
Fantastic, fantastic. Is that a studio or is that home?
This is home. Yeah,
Nice,
that's
nice.
the
That is a glorious photo of Elvis there.
Elvis. Yeah, I'm a big Elvis fan, so my house is kind of a Elvis shrine. And now
Nice.
that like fans know that I like Elvis, at every gig I get something. So
Oh,
now it's like
superb.
building and building up. I'm gonna be like a museum soon.
So, what era? I mean, that era there. I mean, for listeners that I'm watching this,
Yeah,
there's a glorious picture of Elvis, kind of early sort of Vegas era, maybe.
it's like 70s, I think.
Mm.
That yeah, that's like peak Elvis with the like gold aviator shades that he's
Mm.
known for. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a picture of Elvis and he's got them shades on, but he's wearing a karate suit and it is a truly wonderful picture.
Yeah. I mean, he's an icon. His style is like my sort of inspiration for loads of
Superb.
stuff.
All right. Well, look, let's kick off your playlist and I'm going to ask you first to tell me the song that you regard as having the greatest ever intro, please, Laura.
Well, this is a hard one because there's so many good intros, and there's all like the obvious ones, like Dire Straits, and I was thinking of all the ones, but I think personally, my favorite intro is by a band called Autolux, and it's a song called Turnstile Blues. And the reason being is just like the drum beat is so, it's got such feel. And the drummer is like my favorite drummer, Carla Azar. She's amazing. She's played with Jack White and other people. But it's just got this really cool groove. And anyone that I know that knows this band, every time like you just hear that one drum beat come in, you just like you know what song it is, and
Yeah.
it's just a really cool intro. So I wanted to say that one because I feel like that's my favorite intro, and I feel maybe people don't know the song, so it'd be a good
Yeah.
way if people like listening to it.
The production on it's wicked because it's
Yeah,
really raw because the drums literally is the intro, isn't it? And
yeah,
it sounds so raw.
yeah. It's I think it was produced by this guy called God, what's he called? Something Burnett. He's like, and he's an older guy, and he did a lot of the soundtrack for True Detective,
Ah,
that movie. T-Burn, so T something Burnett. I have to. I should have looked that up, but yeah, and yeah, he's really cool. And I remember when I first heard that record, it was like early days of Blubbered Shoes, and a tour manager had introduced me to them. He tour managed them, and I was like, "What is this? It's amazing! It's got this kind of Sonic Youth vibe to it, but
yeah.
it's not, and it's got this female male singer, and yeah, it's really really cool. So yeah, I love that intro. It's like as soon as that starts, I'm like, yes, I love this song.
And so let's talk a little bit about intros. And I mean, you mentioned Dire Straits, and I'm presuming you was talking about Money for Nothing with
Yeah,
the huge long intro with Sting wailing over it, and a few people have chosen that have come on here, and obviously
yeah,
that is a vast long intro. And in the world that we currently live in, Laura, where it appears attention spans seem to be getting shorter and shorter, and there's more commercial pop acts kind of literally writing just for the purposes of TikTok and algorithms and such. I just wonder how much of those sort of movements in how people are getting their music through streaming and apps and TikTok and so does any of that filter through into your creative process, Laura, and essentially the intro as well?
yeah. I mean, that's such a good point because now, like, there's no attention span, and obviously, if you sent that to radio or something, they'd just be like, you have to cut that off.
Sure.
But I think you can do a radio edit and you can do the big line intro, and I think I kind of miss those like interesting times where like yeah people would like have longer like instrumental parts and just like experiment and yeah it's true actually because if you think about it I can't think of a modern song that has such like a long intro or something
Mm.
like that, but as soon as you hear that intro you know who it is. So yeah, I mean I suppose it does filter into me in some way. I think musically I've always kind of oh sorry, hello. I'm really sorry about
That's all
that.
right.
Um, yeah, it probably does in some way. Not that I'm like completely aware of, but I always tend to write quite short songs. But then I think of that as more of like a Pixies thing because their songs are
Yeah,
always so short, and I come from that kind of pop alternative world. But I think if I think about like early songs I've wrote, there's probably like really long, drawn out sort of intros or outros. Um, but yeah, I think maybe subconsciously it probably does a little bit. But yeah, I actually do think that now there's something to be said for doing something just a bit bold and maybe doing a long intro and stuff is something that would be cool because like yeah, everyone's kind of gone into this like TikTok world and I think a lot of us are feeling like we just want something interesting and anyone that takes bold moves tend to get noticed more now, I think, because everyone's just
absolutely.
sick of it.
Absolutely. Laura, for your next track, I'm going to ask you to tell me the first song that you remember hearing that had an emotional impact on you, please.
Um, the thing that I couldn't fully remember what had the most impact on me, but then I thought about the song that I probably listened to the most when I was a teenager and probably sat in my bedroom and thought, wow, this is so cool. So I do think maybe it is Whole, Violet, and I got it on CD single, and I just remember feeling like it was just something. It was so cool. It had a really cool video. Her voice was just like nothing I'd heard before, and it was like that anger. And I think I started a band when I was like 14 or something, and that was like the first cover I ever did. But yeah, I just remember thinking, firstly, this is what I want to do, and secondly, just like feeling that kind of that raw angst that Courtney Love had in that song. Just it resonated with me at the time of being a teenager, and just like I grew up in the sort of suburbs of London, and wasn't much going on, and it was just like it just really related to me at the time, and I just thought, wow, what the hell is this? So yeah, I definitely think it was probably that one that struck me the most because obviously I went on to play guitar and sing in a band, and I think all that music was what inspired me to start do that in the beginning.
And to discover like how as as a young age and to hear a a ridiculously talented woman making this glorious racket, did that then send you searching a little bit deeper at that age into maybe finding out about Kim Gordon, Veruca Salt, and all of these
Yeah,
other kind of bands that were coming through at the same time?
definitely. That was my gateway. From there, I found Babes in Toyland, who were like such a big part of my growing up. Yeah, uh, Sonic Youth. I found everything through them, L7, all that Riot Girl scene. And
Yeah,
then that was it for me. And it
yeah,
still is, I think.
fantastic. If you had to sort of pinpoint, Laura, what the emotion was that
Yeah,
you got, when you heard that, what would it have been?
it was like kind of excitement, but like a, I don't know what the word is, just like a, um, it's almost like sometimes when I'm on stage and I have that moment where I'm just like playing the guitar quite like getting really into it and you're just like, yeah, kind of like not anger, but it's sort of like this feeling of um just like yeah, you could like punch a bag or something. I don't know. I come from a boxing family, so but yeah, it was just sort of like yeah, it was just that angst thing and it was just like but it was excitement as well. It was really
Yeah.
excitable feeling.
I mean, you said you come from a boxing family there. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
boxing glove just over my
Oh
shoulder.
yeah, weird. I didn't
I'm
even notice.
I'm a crazy boxing fanatic. But tell me a little bit, paint a picture of home. Aside from boxing, like you said on the suburbs, like whereabouts was home and was
Yeah.
it a musical environment?
Well, I'm from Irish parents, and everyone in my family are Irish. Moved over. My parents moved over. My sisters when before I was born, and for my dad to work at Heathrow. So I lived sort of near Heathrow growing up, like the suburbs, like the very end of the Piccadilly line. And then I was born, so I grew up there, went to Catholic schools, and I was around music. I think Irish music mostly, just like that was always playing, and bands like Dire Straits, going back to them, and yes, it was always playing. But I don't come from a musical family; I come from a sport family
Mm.
because my dad was a Gaelic footballer. My granddad was a he was a boxer for Ireland, and so yeah, it wasn't music, but music was always being played
Yeah.
around. And I have an older sister who was really into sort of grunge music at the time in the 90s, and I looked up to her. So she kind of introduced me in the beginning, and then I just got obsessed with it. I don't know what it was. I just was always obsessed with music.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you now to tell me the song that reminds you of your time at school, please, Laura.
There's quite a few and different eras of school, but whenever I hear Boys and Girls by Blur, I always think back to actually really early primary school. And I think it's because all my friends were into like, I was obsessed with Top of the Pops, and a lot of my friends weren't really, music wasn't really on their radar yet because we were pretty young. But I remember just hearing that song, and I had my pencil box was a Pringles box that I decorated with magazine cutouts, and it was all Blur, and it was like Blur and Elastica and stuff. And I just remember of that time just being obsessed with that song. And I think then throughout, like going to school in the 90s, it was such a big song and a big band. And I've still never seen them live, which is mad, but I absolutely love Blur. So yeah, so when I hear it, like when I'm out in a club or something, I actually heard it the other day, probably why it came into my mind. Just these some builders down the road were listening to it on their radio, and I thought it always brings me back to school time.
Yeah. Yeah. And it doesn't sound like anything else Blur ever done.
No,
I mean, it's all sort of driven by Alex, I guess. It's very kind of disco, isn't it?
yeah,
And yeah, it's weirdly they're the band I've actually seen the most. And
really,
I've yeah, I just I I'm 52, so I was lucky to kind of they come and played my venue on the first ever tour, and then after that, I loved Modern Life. I thought it was
yeah,
such an amazing record, and we used to go and see him in these small venues, and I guess by the time, roughly thinking about when you're talking about like that moment of Blur and Elastica and in the kind of mid '90s, it was so weird because the demographic of people at Blur shows had changed so dramatically from just being like little scruffy indie kids to like all of a sudden like Damon and Justine and Jarvis and Liam were like pop stars. They were on the cover
yeah,
of like
totally.
Smash Hits and stuff, and it was
Yeah,
we'd go to like Wembley Arena to watch
yeah,
Blur, which seemed surreal, and it was just screaming teenage girls just
yeah,
screaming for Damon and Alex. It was a surreal moment, but I think that track still to this day just like holds up as something that I just like it when bands and I think like pop scene is a really good example of that as well. I like it when bands have them, they do them one-off tracks that don't that aren't on the albums
yeah, yeah,
that come after like the first record. And Blur done it with pop scene. I think Suede done it with Stay Together. Oasis done it with Whatever. And I really like that. They just have that
yeah,
kind of like little lost track that sort of is that little transition record before they
yeah,
they deliver
totally.
their next look. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And that song definitely is that. And it's like, it's so funny because, yeah, obviously that one took off. And I heard a story about that guitar line that's just like really sort of monotone, like sort of like stab guitar line was because they were like having sort of rows when they were doing the song. And it was just like, Graham Cox's sort of like mood where he was just like playing the guitar, just stabbing that guitar, and actually that worked and that sort of
Yeah,
stayed. He was trying to like sabotage the song, but
yeah.
it ended up being really cool.
Fantastic. Well, look, tell me a little bit about school, Laura. Was it an enjoyable experience?
Yeah, I mean, I liked my secondary school. I think it was all right. Yeah, I sort of have funny memories because, yeah, because being like Irish and stuff, we ended up going to Catholic school, just like state schools. So they were mixed schools, just but it was a Catholic, really Catholic run, so it was quite religious. But I didn't. Well, I'm not really from a religious family, but I sort of it's just like a tradition, more so like in Irish, my Irish family, to go to those schools. So I was taught like priests and stuff, which is quite funny.
Mm.
Um, well, maybe not funny to some people, but to me, when I think back, it was quite odd because when I speak to my other friends, they had a different experience. So yeah, but it was what I liked about my secondary school is there was loads of musicians, and so instead of having a prom, we had like Battle of the Bands. So it was pretty cool in that way. And I think well that got shut down because I think someone burnt the Bible on stage. Someone thought they would do like a Marilyn Manson or something and burnt the Bible on stage, but the priests were judging it, so that didn't go down well.
Yeah, you're going to get mixed reviews with that, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, no, I did like it. I think I used to sort of turn up sometimes when I wanted. I was a good kid, but I was not great at attending. And I used to just turn up at random times on the train. And because I was always very quiet, the teachers used to be like, "You weren't in the last class." And I'd be like, I was in the last class. But I would just get on the train. And I met loads of friends from being late on the train. Um, I met like people that I ended up playing music with and stuff because they were like going to college or whatever, and I was going to school. So yeah, my attendance wasn't great. Um, and yeah, but I failed music as well, so that's quite interesting.
Oh, that's quite rock and roll, though, isn't it? Did did music? I mean, was music the focus for you? Is that what you wanted to do, even when you was at school? Was that apparent?
I think so, yeah. I think from when I was about 8, I knew that's what I wanted to do. I didn't know how. I didn't have like I mean, I didn't even get my own guitar until I was in Beloved Shoes and we would sign. I got some money to buy one. So I just borrowed guitars from friends. So I was really determined. Didn't get just like handed to me to like learn. So I really obviously wanted to do it. But yeah, I think from when I was about 8, I think I remember being at my grandparents' house and seeing the TV, and I actually really remember this moment. I saw Justine Frischman, Elastica, and it was that video for Connection. And I just saw her with the black telly, and I thought, I want to do that. I just remember thinking, I want to do that. And so then, yeah, later on, then I found Hole and all that, and I was like, yeah, I want to do that, but I want to wear a dress. Like I don't, yeah, it was like a funny thing. So yeah, I do think I always was into it. I was really into Stars in Your Eyes. I think there was a point where I was trying to get in the kids' Stars in Your Eyes to be Gwen Stefani, and I practiced and practiced and practiced, and I'd got like made a tape of my voice and everything.
What track?
Don't speak.
Yeah.
And then one, my sister always reminds me of this because she's like, oh God, sorry, got all these calls coming in. Um, oops, what's happened? Can you see me?
Yeah.
Oh, weird. I can't see you now. Hang on. Oh, there we go. Sorry. Um, and my sister reminds me of this because she finds it really funny. Yes, I practiced. I was go months. I practiced to get on Stars in Your Eyes Kids, and then one evening we watched Stars in Your Eyes, and then it was like, and tonight I think I'm gonna be Gwen Stefani, and I
No.
was like, I knew then they're not gonna get me because they've already got it, and I was devastated. My sister said I wouldn't eat for about a week. I wasn't like I was just in depression. So yeah, I've always been obsessed, and I always get like friends reminding me from school when I was really little that I was like obsessed with Top of the Pops, and I'd be like, "Do you know that they mime on Top of the Pops?" I was like, couldn't believe it. But yeah, I think it's just been in me, and I don't know why. Yeah, like I haven't got musician family or anything.
Yeah. If you could go on Stars in Their Eyes now, if they rebooted it,
Yeah.
what would you do now?
Oh, good question. Um, who would I do now? God, maybe PJ Harvey.
Nice. What
I
track?
feel like, Rid of Me, maybe.
Nice. Nice.
I feel like I could kind of conjure that up.
Yeah.
Listen to her enough, so
Fantastic. Last track from the sort of formative years. I'm going to ask you to tell me the first song you remember buying from a record shop, please.
it was Bjork, Big Time Sensuality, I think it's called. And I think it was, yeah, it was in the charts at the time. And I went to Woolworths with whatever money. I think my granddad might have given me pocket money or something because I went there specifically to buy that song.
Yeah.
And I was really into it. Was in the time where she used to have all the like um her hair in those kind of bobble things, and I
So
started
cool.
doing that. It's cool. But yeah, I remember the front cover of her, and I just, yeah, that song was like big at the time, and yeah, that was the first song I remember buying at Woolworths.
Yeah, that's a great track. And around that time was when she had the hair like that photo of her, Polly Harvey and Tori Amos, which is a
Yeah,
really cool shot. And
yeah,
she done the Brits with PJ Harvey, didn't she? They done that kind of they done Stone Satisfaction, didn't they? And it was so, I don't know if you've seen it.
I
It
have. I
was,
only saw it recently though. I didn't know.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's so raw, and she's just, yeah, like she's beyond cool, beyond cool. Um, so tell me a little bit about your relationship with the record shop now. I mean, living in, you say Hove, so
yeah, no,
you
yeah,
know you're never going to be too far from Resident
yeah.
and things like that. And how important is the independent record shop for you, if at all?
It is important. I feel like, um, yeah, I love to go in and just like rummage through. I'd say that depending on actually recently I've been more inclined to go there because I've like actually got a place to live, whereas before being on the road a lot,
Yeah,
I didn't have a record player or anywhere to sort of put all my stuff. And I used to DJ back before I was in Blubber Shoes, in like East London, like DJing 60s and 50s records, vinyl. So I was always been really into vinyl. But yeah, I think they're really important. I'd say I am guilty of probably should go more
mm,
and actually like support them more. But yeah, I just feel like, yeah, Brighton's got a really good amount. But there was a really good record shop that just shut down, Family Records, which is a shame. So yeah, it's always that thing where can we keep them staying open? But yeah, I think it's really important. And now vinyl has become such
yeah.
a big thing again, and like people want a physical thing. Like I think now because everything's digital and stuff, and it feels really good to get the vinyl and the artwork, and I really love artwork. So
So with that in mind, like the talking about artwork, what I'm always sort of mindful of as a 52-year-old man on this podcast is not kind of it becoming like a granddad podcast about how everything was better in my day when we had vinyl and blah blah blah. But what I will say is when you see those kind of coffee table books in record shops of like, the top 100 album covers of all time, there's rarely anything from the last 20 years in there. And
yeah,
it almost feels like sort of 90s backwards. And and do you think that there is anything lost now in the world of predominantly digital, where your album artwork is literally the size of your thumbnail on a telephone? And and also, I'll double load that question. And how much, how mindful are you of that? And do you still approach it as if it was, a nice big tangible album sleeve when you're creating your own artwork?
yeah, I definitely do. But that's because I'm sort of a bit like I went to art school and I've always been really interested in that stuff, and that visual stuff is like really important to me. But I do also realize why probably in that book it's a lot from the past because now we don't have the budgets to do these amazing artworks. Like maybe people had these amazing ideas and you could do them. But now it's like, it's up to the musicians to just sort of get this done and somehow pay for it or try and do it for free. And because it's just the music industry's changed so much and everything is on the artist. So I totally get why maybe it isn't as great as before. because yeah, there's just no budget to kind of create a lot of these cool things, and yeah, because a lot of the time it's just this small little thing on Spotify, it just feels like I can imagine. I take it seriously, but I can imagine some people just being like, well, you can't barely see it, and we can't have the money to like spend to make this big thing. So yeah, I mean personally, I love it, and I love like I love I love vinyl artwork, and it's sort of as important to me. I might pick something up because I like the look of it and
Yeah,
just give it a go. But
absolutely.
but yeah, I see the other side of it, and I do think that's got a lot to play in it. Like why there isn't as great artworks, because back then there was like these budgets to do this crazy stuff and to be able to, make these ideas. And also now maybe like everyone's ideas is kind of, you go, everything's online, everything's on Instagram. And I almost feel like original ideas, what are they anymore? Because we're kind of being fed, even if we don't realize, ideas. And I heard that like a lot of kids now in like art school don't have social media because they don't want to be kind of what's the word, like they don't want stuff to just like go in their brain that they think is original but it's not. They don't want to have like that sort of those ideas. They want to have their original own ideas, so they try and
That's really interesting.
yeah, because you what's the word, I can't think of the word, like yeah, they don't want to be influenced
Yeah,
by yeah everything else online. So I completely get that. Because like I think I'm doing something original, and then I'm like, oh no, someone's that's
yeah.
clearly from that and that and that.
You mentioned DJing in East London a
Yeah,
while ago. So that's I'm going to use that as a tenuous link to the next
yeah,
track, Laura, and ask you to tell me the song that soundtracked your year's clubbing, please.
yeah. So I wasn't a big clubber, because yeah, I kind of missed that bit going clubbing. But I did used to go to kind of random things in London, because I used to live in East London from when I was about 17. And there was a lot of stuff happening there. It was like the beginning of sort of cool stuff happening around those areas. And so there was like all these parties and like noise events, because I had like a couple of friends that did like pirate radio stations with like noise music. And they used to be just like you'd go to these like ambient noise nights, and um, yeah. And I think when I think about actually getting involved in dancing and stuff, it was either like going to see bands like Lightning Bolt, who were just like insane, and I used to get carried away. That was my like club night, noise music, or like My Bloody Valentine. I always wanted to be like surrounded by like intense noise. And that was like my euphoric clubbing moment.
I mean, you've just picked the two fucking noisiest bands you could ever pick
Yeah.
there.
Everyone always used to be like, what two pieces do you love? And I'm like, Lightning Bolt. And they're like, who? And I'm like, check them out. I used to love seeing them live. That was like my favorite thing.
Yeah. And so are we gonna what are we gonna go for? Are we gonna pick a track from Lightning Bolt or are we gonna pick a track from My Bloody Valentine?
Let's do My Blind Valentine, because I think my favorite song ever is Soon.
Yeah, lovely. That's a great track. That's a great track. Okay. Well look, from clubbing, let's go home. It's a favorite track from an artist from your home county, please.
Well, where I live now, which is basically Brighton and Hove, I couldn't think, because I was like, there's been a lot of good artists from Brighton, but I really love the 80s Matchbox Beeline Disaster.
Yeah.
And I like them because they were just at the time just like live, they're just mad, like with strobes. And I remember that song coming out, it's before I lived here, but this song, the famous song, Safari Psychosis. And the video was super cool. And Edgar Wright, who had, he's made like big movies and stuff, he had made the video, and it was
Oh, I
really,
did not know that.
yeah, yeah. But I didn't know that till later on. But yeah, he made that video, and it was like really, really cool. And it was just like wild. And I just think they were a really underrated band, actually. I remember hearing about them on the radio. I was pretty young when it came out, and they were driving around in like a hearse
Yeah.
in Brighton. I would have loved to see that. I think it was like bright green or something.
Superb. Because they're in a car in the video to for
Yeah,
psychosis as well, aren't they?
yeah,
And it's like it's so slick that video. And it was Guy, wasn't it, the singer?
yeah,
Like just beyond cool. He just looked. He had a bit of kind of I don't know. He kind of just had that sort of Nick Cave-esque kind of dark presence at the front of the band, a bit of the Damned in there, and it was just yeah, it was pretty intense. Few times I see him,
yeah,
it was so exciting getting to see them.
yeah. Yeah, I just think they were super cool and like, yeah, they always like spring to mind when I think of Brian because I'm like, yeah, that was a really cool time and like that song was yeah, still really cool. And I used to DJ that song back then as well.
Would that
So
have been in? Would that have been in Brighton?
that I DJ'd it when I lived in London. So I DJ all this like 50s and 60s music, but I always used to put that in it because I always thought
Mm.
that kind of worked within it.
Yeah, it's got that sort of rockabilly-esque kind of
Yeah,
like psychobilly thing to it. I can see it segueing into that. Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. Um, okay, well, for your last track, Laura, this is where you get to be a tastemaker or influencer, as the kids call it,
yeah.
and it's your opportunity to tell me a song that you think many of the listeners to this podcast may not know that you would like them to hear.
I've gone for this guy called Emil Mosseri, and I went for him because I found him about a year ago, and I've been a bit obsessed ever since. And he does loads of soundtrack music. That's kind of what he's known for. But he's now made two solo records, and this is on the first solo record, and it's called My Greedy Heart. And it really touched me, this song, and the video is really super cool and there's just something about the song. And I saw him live about a few months ago in London, and this song really brought tears to my eyes. It means a lot to me, and I don't know how popular it is really. So I just wanted that one to be the one, just because it's like yeah, it's quite sort of quieter than the rest of the songs I've put suggested on here or talked about. Um, and so yeah, it's like more soundtracky, but the lyrics are really cool. And yeah, he's just someone that I'm really into at the moment.
Fantastic. Well, we make it nice and easy for the listeners of this show to go and listen to that and all the other tracks that we've spoken about today, Laura, because we put together a little Spotify playlist that people can go and dive into. Well, look, we've spoken so much about other people's music. We've not spoken about yours. So what's happening, Laura?
Well, I have branched out. So I'm known for a band called Blubber Shoes. We've made like 6 albums, 2 piece rock noisy thing. And I'm still doing that, but I'm doing a solo record now, which I've made, and it's coming out in September the 26th. It's called Bye Bye Jackie. It's the opposite style of music. It's kind of more on the sort of side of like it's got a bit of like broadcast vibe in there, a bit of country, and a bit of like Ronettes. It's that kind of a mix of yeah, doo wop and like British kind of indie. Um, it's yeah, it's taken a while to make just because I've been touring a lot and I wanted to make it right, and I feel really happy about it. So yeah, that a song just came out called June Gloom, which has got Lee Kiernan from Idols playing lead on it, and I've got a tour coming up in November in the UK and February in Europe. So I'm really excited about it because it's a completely new thing for me.
How was this sort of studio experience? Being there, leading everything and being on your own essentially.
Yeah, it's quite different. I suppose I'm so used to working with Steve, who's in Other Shoes, and like we
We
work
should
really
also
well.
shout out Steve done this about 3 years ago. So
Yes,
if
I
people
know.
want to
Yeah,
listen, they can go and have a
yeah.
listen. Steve's been on as well.
He's the opposite character. We're very opposite, let's put it that way. He's very like, more of an extrovert. I'm the introvert, and but it works really well and we're very like in tune with each other. So we've worked together for so long. So yeah, it was different working with other people, but I really enjoyed it because it was like I went in with the songs, like I'd written the songs just on an acoustic guitar, like a little toy kid's guitar, a nylon string guitar. And I went in with the songs, played it live in there to Oscar and Dave, who are the producers. They're also like multi instrumentalists, so the three of us just played everything together and we just like jammed in the room and it felt really natural and we just experimented really. I think I just got the hang of it after like the first time and then I was like, this is actually really fun because there's no like set rules. We're just I know kind of the vibe. I know this the song's already done, but I just like I know what kind of vibe, but we just had all the instruments there, so we just played everything. It's almost like a very cozy studio. I like being in those environments where it's not like a really clinical studio. I like when it's like a bedroom and it's just instruments everywhere that you can just play, and so that's what we did. So yeah, it was actually really really fun, and like I learned a lot. I learned a lot from those guys, and then we had a few other people come in. We had like strings come in, and we had like some friends come and play stuff. So everyone involved, I just learned a lot, and everyone's take on it. Whereas I'm just used to being like me and Steve, so it was nice having other people collaborate, and then you come up with something different. Because I wanted it to sound. I think when I play with Steve, like if he's playing drums on it, if I got him to play drums, for example, on this record, it would sound like us.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I need this to be like a different sound because otherwise there's no point me doing another project. I want it to be the opposite. Um, so
Did you
yeah,
did you feel any pressure or like a weight of expectation as being like, oh, this is Laura from Blood Pressure Uses new record on her own?
yeah, I think I really obviously I'm like, okay, it's just me, so I need this to come across as me. And like my genuine self. And I think I put an EP out a while back, and that was like me testing the waters, but it wasn't quite still what I was going for. I think I was like trying to search for something a bit different, but I didn't know what. And so then by the time this came round, I felt like I was ready for it. But yeah, I still feel a little bit like, oh, what, it's just like a different thing, especially Blubber Choose fans, because it's so opposite. And I'm like, would they even like this? I mean, I'm trying, hopefully I'll get fans outside of that. But yeah, there is expectation, but I just stay true to myself, and that's all you can do, isn't it?
That is all you can do. In regards to future releases and tours and such, where's the best place to keep up to things, all Laura?
Probably Instagram because I have to update the website and I'm really bad at it. So everyone keeps seeing my website. I'm like, oh, I haven't even put the dates on there yet. Too many things to do. So yeah, Instagram is probably the best.
Wonderful. Well, if it's all right with you, Laura, when we release this episode, we'll tag you in it. So anybody that's not following you already, we'll make it nice and easy for them to go and do so.
Thank you so much.
Oh, Laura, it's been an absolute delight talking records with you today. Thank you so much for giving up your time today.
Oh, thank you. It's been really fun.
I'm going to press stop. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah.